Once upon a time, there was a happy family. The man was hard-working, sincere, and willing to sacrifice anything for the sake of his family. The man was hard-working, sincere, and willing to sacrifice anything for the sake of his family. And the man's wife cooked for him, made his clothes. It was a usual and happy family. However, the bandits started appearing in the neighborhood, and one day, unfortunately, the bandits came to his house. As a result, the man's family couldn't escape misfortune. The man who returned home later cried out after looking at the situation. Under such circumstances, the man, who was the husband of a woman and the father of a child, couldn't do much. What do you think he did? He would have gotten his revenge, of course. Yes, the path he chose was to get revenge with his own hands. The man had no time for sadness. As the pain of training already swept over his body every day. One day, when it heavily snowed, the man finally got the power he wanted, and because of the tremendous power he possessed, he became a monster. There was no mercy in his hands. He just cut, stabbed, and killed relentlessly, and in the end, he finally found the culprit. The monster finally finished what it had to do. His revenge was over, but too many people were killed in the process. The blood of the dead was enough to form a river. Now let me ask you this. How would you deal with this man, this monster? Will you sentence him to death for killing people? Master, actually, I've already been thinking about this issue for a while. Really? So what's your conclusion? I couldn't come to one. At that time, I was scolded by you, and I went to ask Daewon the same question. Good or bad, he's a lawbreaker. If he could capture the bandits alone, why didn't he catch them and hand them over to the official? I know you want to say that we need to understand people's situations more, but Daewon wasn't wrong either. It sounds like something Daewon would have said. But if Kang-jin follows that, things could get serious. Yeah, what he said wasn't wrong, but I've said isn't wrong either. When we weigh the severity of the case, we must also consider the circumstances. That's all I can tell you. If we do that, then Daewon would be wrong, and to refute that, there's no need to refute it, because Daewon's answer is also correct. Then what should I do? Bad guys need to be caught. However, I can be criticized if I catch them and still be praised even if I don't catch them. Master, please tell me, how can I be considerate of their circumstances in this situation? If it was easy for me, I wouldn't have had this conversation now. This is a problem that you, who is 1,000 times smarter than me, needs to solve. Master, brat, I know this problem is complex for you to comprehend, since it involves compassion. Kang-jin, just remember one thing. People have differing opinions, so whatever you do in your position, they will still criticize you. That's why you must think more before making your decisions. My decision? Sometimes the law points in a completely different direction from what people think. But if the foundation is shaken, we can't deny what Daewon said because the principles are so strong, and those principles are called the law. You need to know how to strike a balance between the law and public opinion. In the end, we have to look at everything from the cause to the consequences of the incident. That thing called circumstances, will I really be able to understand it, Master? Making the impossible possible, isn't that what you're best at? Just do that and you'll be fine. Don't worry too much. It'll be hard at first, but you will do better with more experience. As expected, our teachings are always easy to understand, Master. It's not a clear solution, but I definitely know how I should proceed. Still, I have to quickly experience it, but I don't know if I can accumulate experience just by working on documents. If you're a police chief, you should go out and see how people live. What can you learn when you sit at a table and look at the papers all day? About that. That treacherous bastard. Doesn't this mean he is covering your eyes and ears? Well, he said that's how I need to exert my authority as the chief, and the rules here are like that. Ha, you're smart, but since you're young and have spent most of your time in scholarly activities, you probably don't know this. Think about it. If you only look at the documents and solve cases according to the law, how can you learn about other circumstances? I may be ignorant, but even I know there are only treacherous subjects besides a tyrant. But there's some truth to what they said, so I thought about it. If I walk around outside, I might not be able to go home because there'll be no end to my work. You brat! Why are you shouting all of a sudden, master? Who do you want to be, pardon? I am asking about your lifelong dream, a dream that you will make it happen no matter what. Didn't you say it yourself? No matter what those bastards say, no matter how difficult it gets, you said you'll definitely make it happen. Yes, I did. I told you to choose and focus. If you want to become a high-ranking official and make everyone look up to you, you need to sacrifice something you own. You also said that humans are manipulative and forget quickly. As expected, I need you by my side, Master. You are right, Master. These bastards are the bad guys. Yes, they are. I already told you, but I'm sure they'll look down on you and try to get things done their way. I'm so glad I came. How dare these bastards try taking advantage of my disciple? That's right. Then I'll have to show them. Let's stop here for now. If I push him any further, he might even kill them. They took me for a brat who didn't know anything, huh? If it weren't for Master's teaching, how could I have ever considered checking the document's contents and verifying what people said? These bastards dared to deceive me. Even if the previous chief was up to no good, there's no way they wouldn't have known that. But they decided not to tell me a single thing, huh? Why are you here, Pippi? What should I do with these guys? Well, the laws are basically made by those who I want to protect their possessions. Yeah, it's good that they use the law, but it feels so unpleasant. How dare they take advantage of me in that situation? Cheek, you're also angry that your owner was humiliated, right? While I didn't know this, people who were unjustly criminalized and unfairly flogged would have blamed me. They didn't make people look up to me, but resent me instead. Did you call us, Chief? What's going on, sir? Come on in. Sorry for calling you so early in the morning. Of course, we have to come when you summon us. Please don't worry about it. I've called you here in such a hurry because I wanted to ask you something. I've called you here in such a hurry because I wanted to ask you something, at your command, Chief. Has this been filled out correctly? A work schedule. What about it? It's just related to everyday work. Is there any problem with this? Is there nothing wrong with it? No. Did you find something wrong? You don't see anything wrong with an inspector being constantly sent to patrol posh areas where only hundreds of people live. In contrast, slums, where thousands live, are only patrolled every other day. Oh. Chief, that's a given. Let's hear your reasoning on why that's so obvious. A posh area has many more things to protect, while slums are filled with poor people who... Chief, patrols are meant to respond to potential crimes by limiting the boundary that thieves will operate. Logically speaking, thieves would only target places with money and not without it. That is why it's obvious to place more importance on patrolling posh areas. That's quite logical of you. However, Chief, patrols are meant to respond to potential crimes by limiting the boundary that thieves will operate. Logically speaking, thieves would only target places with money and not without it. That is why it's obvious to place more importance on patrolling posh areas. That's quite logical of you. However, there is not much we can do about the things that occur in the poorest streets of the slums. They kill each other and secretly bury them so that not even rats or birds would know. While the victims' families stay hush about it, there's nothing we can do. These guys. So then there's no fault with us? As you know, we have limited personnel, but if it really troubles you, we can increase the slums patrol to once a day. Reverse it. If there are 10 patrols, send 9 to the slums and 1 to the posh areas. But there would be multiple complaints from the posh areas if we did that. Were there no complaints from the slums? Those in the posh areas already have their personal guards. Policemen wouldn't even compare to those guys. We don't need 2 different professionals to worry about the same matter. If it concerns you that much, I suggest an alternative. We can just increase the overall number of patrols. Chief, if we do that, we won't even have time to go back home. We don't even have enough people for our daily operations. Aren't you a public servant? Are you not willing to make this little sacrifice? And any criminals we capture from now on will be transferred to the governor after I've personally investigated their circumstances. Police chief, that is an overreach of authority. Litigation is the duty of his lordship. I thought you might be allowed to take care of certain things based on the situation. Making it mandatory for you to review them all are my words meaningless? Shouldn't you just obediently follow what I say? But Chief, other officers might complain about the increase in work. Since it could demoralize the police bureau, I ask that you reconsider it. It's illogical. We might get reprimanded for it later. Reprimand? I'm your immediate superior, so who would reprimand you? If any chance you are reprimanded, I will take care of it. Will the officers still complain? Our job is to capture bad guys, so what is there to complain about? Summon all the officers. No, call the detectives too. I order all of them to undergo training to capture brutal criminal. But why are we training? It's part of our duty. Certainly, you two will also have to attend it. Don't worry. I'll ensure to train both of you to the point that you'd be able to survive even when thrown into a band of bandits. What could it be so early in the morning? I expected something like this to happen. Usually, every time a new figure comes to power, they try to exert their authority in one way or another. Indeed, I was beginning to feel uncomfortable about how quiet it's been. Excluding those on patrol, 8 officers and 72 detectives have gathered. Arguing over trivial matters with those under you will harm you. Everyone has a differing opinion. As a mutt can eat half of its food in its own home, it would be troublesome to start something in a place favorable for them. Then, I should move the location to a place favorable to me. That's right. You have to make it so that they can't speak out against whatever you say. A situation where they can't say anything. Press them down so they can't crawl up. Lower the current crime rate while increasing my fame. Killing 3 birds with 1 stone. You will begin training on confronting a violent criminal. The training method is quite simple. Everyone, grab your clubs. The last person to grab his club will get 10 floggings. What are you two doing? Aren't you going to grab yours? Are we doing it too? Officer Yu Shilgi. Yes, Chief. 10 floggings. Chief, what are you saying? I'm sure I said the last person to grab his club would receive 10 floggings. If the military has military discipline, then the police bureau has government bylaws. Mr. Lee, Mr. Chung, yes, Chief. Take him and flog him 10 times. If you go easy on him, you will also receive 10 floggings. You should keep in mind that I have excellent hearing. Over there, Mr. Im and Mr. Pak. Yes, Chief. Officer, you and those 2 guards, you will flog each of them 10 times. As you command! Chief, how can you do this? Why not? The training of the police bureau should be the responsibility of the police chief. It's also possible to deal with someone summarily. Chief, isn't this the basics of government bylaws? It seems you've been in your position for so long that you've forgotten about it. You should go look it up. After your punishment, that is.
Ooze! Hey, be more gentle!
Stop exaggerating. I held back just enough to not get noticed. Mr. Im, did you really? I know you've had some grievances against me, but it's troublesome to be like this with your own kind. I'm sorry, it was the chief's command. I'll be sure to remember this. If that's what you remember from today, my punishment is meaningless. If that's what you remember from today, my punishment is meaningless. I thought with your level of experience, you'd be able to know what you should take and what you should forget from today's events. Stay there. That's an order. Your expression looks like you're full of complaints. Not at all, Chief. And did you look through the bylaws? You kept insisting this kind of thing wasn't allowed under the law, didn't you? My false judgment was due to my stupidity and incompetence. Please forgive me. I took your advice because I value your professional experience, so you should receive proper training too. I may not know much about many things, but I'm pretty good at training others. You'll have a chance to repay me. Chief, what exactly is your business? It's as I said, I'll give you a chance to repay me fairly. I'll now explain how you'll be training. It's very simple. I will be the felon, and each group will combine their strengths to overpower me. Although your training was delayed due to an unfortunate incident, there will be a reward. The group that can overpower me will be done with their training and receive 20 silver nyang as a prize. What? 20 silver nyang? Although he is committing this now, what if we end up getting a beating later? Have you not heard about me? I'm rich enough to pay 20 nyang daily to each group that beats me. He's looking down on us. He doesn't know how scary the world can be. Will there be any potential future trouble? He declared it in front of so many people, so that's likely improbable. But let's just go easy for now. $20 silver nyang means 2 silver nyang per person. How can he make such a bold promise? No matter how I look at him, he looks feeble. Let's not get careless. We will subdue him for now, but try not to overdo it. Which group will come first? If you let someone else take the initiative, you might lose out on 20 silver nyang. We shall go first. Officer Na, the order should be based on experience. But I stood up first. We called it first. How come there is not a single useful person here? Isn't there anyone here who suspects I might have some hidden motives to declare something like this? Sir, shouldn't we step in as well? Just stay still. He must have a reason to say he can take on not just one person, but an entire group. Let's just observe for now. Kid, in times like these, you must have good intuition to survive. If you win, there'd be a problem. If you lose, there'd be a problem. Your life can become troublesome just because of 20 silver yang. If you aren't going to do anything, then taking the middle path is the perfect philosophy here. So you're First Officer Jung? Yes, Chief, we won't cause you any severe injuries, so don't worry. You might regret it later, so just give it your all. Surround him. This training is intended to discipline them, but it's also beneficial if they get stronger. What more should I do in addition to 20 silver yang to make them charge at me? Subdue him! Oops! Everyone charge! Please! You don't have to go so easy on me! You all are so soft-hearted! It old you, I'm a felon right now! He's not that good. He's dodging everything like a slippery snake. This is quite violent. How dangerous. It seems Doble. How can you guys not catch that? He's good at escaping. He must be lucky. We gotta go next. We have to take the initiative. Otherwise, we'll lose out on 20 silver Nayang. We can't let someone get him before us. I'm pretty good at acting. Should I keep continuing this? Can't you capture just one man? Get him! Tie his legs! I said capture him! Get him from behind! It seems I underestimated. It seems I underestimated you all. Although I have trained diligently my martial arts for many years. It was almost dangerous there. If I hit him faster, I could have gotten my revenge. In my opinion, you are the one who rushed it. Chief, will we have another chance? I do not lie. Until this training ends, there will be a chance every day for a group to finish their training and receive 20 silver yang. Good, then it's tomorrow. I'll get him next time for sure. 20 silver yang are mine. He was almost subdued so many times. Shouldn't I consider that it is not a mere coincidence? I've got a bad feeling about this. It seems like they're not all fools. Should I kick out the two lazy bones and make these two my hands instead?